Hi, I'm Katie.
And I'm Coley. Welcome to the SVU Common Podcast, Little Witch Detectives.
We're back.
We're back.
I feel like every episode we're like, we're back.
Yeah.
But no, we're actually back. Um, it is March now.
It is March.
We it's been a minute, but I'm excited. Um, should we just jump into stuff? In
Yeah.
okay. Um, So, this is our Witch Talk. It's the corner of the intro of our show where we catch you guys up on what we've been doing. We started doing this because we wanted to be able to talk to you guys, but it's funny because Coley and I talk all the time, so we kind of are
Yes.
like, no. But I never have anything quite prepared to say for this, and then I just start yapping. What have I been doing? So much stuff. So, friend of the show, Sabrina, she's getting married next weekend. So, we have been doing like nonstop wedding activities.
Yay. Congratulations, Sabrina.
I know, it's so exciting. Me and my boyfriend are in the wedding and my brother's going, so it's like a family affair. And
Yeah.
so much like bachelorette party stuff.
Mm,
We had like a bridal shower and it's just been like back to back things lately, which has been wonderful. But I've been very busy on the weekends.
yeah.
Um, and then this weekend there was a huge storm that rolled through. That's why I was texting you if it was storming up your way. Um, because it was like rough going through the Midwest and then down into here, and they were preparing us for like this terrible, awful storm, right? And then in Georgia, nothing happened. It's sunny.
Oh.
So I was like
Yeah.
prepared. I had all of
It's
my electronics charged and everything.
yeah. It's supposed to rain later tonight, and then there's supposed to be a thunderstorm around 8 o'clock.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, I saw it was kind of I have like good friends in Indiana and I saw it
mm,
blowing through over there and I checked on them and they ended up being in Florida for the storm. So I was like,
oh, that works.
cool, because I think Florida was okay because it kind of blew right over Atlanta and kept going towards the Carolinas. So,
Hmm.
but I'm not sure what the name of the storm is, but if you guys have any storm stories from March, please let me know because I find that so interesting and I was kind of hoping it was going to be more here. But it's okay. It's the same with snow. They're like, "Oh, it's going to snow in Georgia," and then it's just like some white ice on the grass.
Yeah.
So, but aside from that, not a lot is going on with me. I've been working like crazy and just busy, but all good things.
Yeah.
What's going on with you?
So I got an electric tea kettle for my room. I'm really excited about it. It came in yesterday, and I made my first cup of tea with it this morning at 5:30. And I
I know.
texted Katie. I
I
was
was
like, I made my first cup of tea.
It's so cute too. You got such a cute one.
Yeah,
I love a cute appliance.
yes. Um, I've been going to the gym. I had a little break there because I got sick again.
hmm
Um, but I'm back. I did a better balance class this week and chair yoga this week. I was gonna do a chair fitness class, but I was feeling sick and I didn't want to go and like agitate my stomach and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So, um,
You've been going so consistently though, and I think that's so good.
yeah. um, I was in not a relationship, we were dating for a week.
Lesbians.
Yeah. Well, it was a distance, honestly.
Yeah.
And if either one of us drove, it could be different, but neither of us drove, and um, it was just a difficult thing with the distance.
hmm
And then I had to block her because she was liking all of my Facebook posts and all of my stories, like without fail. to the
Hmm.
point where all of my notifications on Instagram at one point were her.
Yeah.
It was overwhelming.
Yeah, and I feel like part of it too, maybe it wouldn't have been that way had there been so much distance and unable.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, but I talked to my therapist about it and she said she's probably just more reactive than I am. And that's okay. And it's okay to have cut her out. Um, because sometimes things are just bad fits and it happens, you know?
yeah, and also like the timing has to be right, and so
Yeah.
sometimes like could be just a whole bunch of reasons for the way people act the way they do.
Yeah.
Um, but it sucks because I was kind of excited about that one.
Yeah.
She liked a lot of things that I like. So I was like, ooh.
She
Um,
turned me on to the youth though. So I
I
mean
know.
like
That's my favorite band for anybody that
yeah.
doesn't know since I was in middle school. Um, but she showed Coley one of the songs that I showed my very boyfriend to tell him that I loved him. Um, so it was kind of cute.
Yeah. Um there's something else. What else? Oh, I'm back on dating apps. Or one
Yeah,
dating app. I'm back on her.
I like that one, I think.
Yeah.
Seems safe-ish.
Yeah.
I say that and I met my whole boyfriend on Tinder, so um I think that's good though.
Yeah.
You know. Well,
And that's about it for me.
what's going on in Mariska's world lately?
She hasn't been very active on Instagram, and
Oh.
when she has been, it's just been like posting stories. Um,
Hmm.
she posted a picture of the blood moon the other day, and I was like, "Witch."
I know. We've been clocking every time she does something witchy just for our
Yeah.
amusement.
Yeah. Um, but Ryan is back for two episodes so far this season. Episode 18 and whatever one they're shooting now, because they were shooting yesterday, I think, or Friday. I don't know. The days kind of blend together when you
Mm,
just are a hermit and sit in your room with your cup of tea and your laptop.
yes.
Um,
Um,
so
yeah, I think they are filming right now because I feel like tweeted something about
yeah.
filming. Hmm.
But yeah, so we're getting Noah back for at least two episodes this season.
I'm so excited.
And Ryan put SVU back in his bio. He had taken it
Oh,
out for a little bit.
love that for him.
Yeah,
This season has been really good.
it has been.
The writing has been phenomenal. Whatever the team is right now, they're doing like the most.
Yes.
And making me like characters that I never thought I would like.
Yeah.
Because I was not a Bruno person until this last episode.
Oh, see,
And
I always liked Bruno.
I
I didn't
know.
like Velasco
I
until
like,
his
well,
episode.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. My opinion has changed on him too this season
Yeah.
a little bit. But yeah, I really liked the episode this week a lot because it gave me a lot to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and debate on both sides. And I love when they do an episode like that that has like a lot of meat to it.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. I think they're killing it, honestly, and I hope they keep going, even though Ice-T keeps acting like he's not going to keep going all of a sudden. Makes me very nervous because he's my favorite character.
Yes.
But he did tweet something the other day about Richard Belzer that was really cute.
Yeah.
If
I
you guys,
miss Bells.
yeah, he was like, I miss my guy, Mr. Bells or something, and
Yeah.
picture of them from the 90s and I just
Yeah.
was gonna just sob. But TLDR, I really have liked this season, and if you guys are caught up on it, we would love to chat about it because we're also caught up, I think.
Yes.
For once.
For once, yes.
Um, is that everything SVU related though? I can't think.
I think so.
I've seen a lot of stuff about Chris Maloney lately, but I have no idea what's going on in
That's
OC.
because OC is premiering on April 17th
Oh,
on Peacock, and everyone's excited for the second episode because that's the episode that Chris wrote,
right, and Mariska's in
and
it again.
Mariska's in it.
Yeah, we'll just have to fast forward to the Mariska parts.
Yeah,
So that's a week from when this episode is gonna go up,
a
I think.
month.
A month, sorry, a month.
Yes.
Jeez. Um, Interesting. I guess that makes sense. Every time I get on Twitter lately, it's been pictures of him and like stuff he's doing.
Mm,
Um, so they're probably pushing his promo or whatever, but I've
yeah.
also saw people have been making up new ship names for Olivia and Elliot.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? This new generation, because we already have changed it.
Yes. And that annoyed me to no end.
We still say EO here in this house,
Yes.
and we don't support the ship.
No.
But I saw obviously Bensler's popular, and then I saw another one that was like Stablin or something, like mixing doing Stabler first. And I was like, ew.
No.
I was like, what? I was like, Bensler's already bad enough. We don't
Yeah.
need another one.
It's like
Um,
we didn't start with Bensler until we started with Livid. It was
mhm.
Olivia and David.
Yeah.
But mixing the last, I mean, you do it with Tucson, but
hmm
I
That one sounds nice.
yeah.
I think it's all in like how it's said, but
Yeah.
I like Ben City personally.
Yeah.
And I wish they'd get back together because Tucker's gone, so and he's the one I'd want her with.
I'm still bitter.
I know. Only watches that episode back just to be sad.
Yeah. It's also a phenomenal episode. It just makes
No,
me cry.
it is. Um, all right, well, shall we move into our astrological weather report here?
Yes.
There's so much going on right now, guys. Like, oh my gosh. So we just went into Mercury retrograde. Or we're about to. It's happening right now. And then we're in Venus retrograde still in Aries, which is wild. So if you've noticed your communication is not great or relationships seem to be having more issues than normal or things like coming up in your platonic relationships, romantic, family, whatever, you might see a lot of stuff bubbling to the surface during this time and it'll be a little difficult to communicate um, but just hang in there. We're also in eclipse season. We just had a full moon lunar eclipse on Thursday, and then that giant storm blew through the US, and then, everything's been kind of a mess this weekend,
Yeah.
going to St. Patrick's Day. So, uh, it's kind of like just like buckle up. The weather's kind of crazy right now,
Hmm.
and then we're going into Aries season, so it's not gonna get any less crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but I think periods like this, especially eclipse seasons, are really good for clearing out any energy or any people or anything that's kind of been taking you down or making you feel lower, because that's what they're for. It's
Hmm.
kind of to rush all of that stuff out. So it's not a great time to manifest because when you manifest during an eclipse or like actively manifest where you're thinking about it, it can kind of go the opposite way because when the eclipse season's over and everything is moving the way that it's supposed to, it'll go back to how it was. So I always caution during eclipse season to be mindful. Obviously, we're always actively manifesting in things we say and the way we carry ourselves, but try not to do a lot of spell work during this time and focus more on self-care.
Yeah.
Um, just because you don't want it to rotate backwards, you know?
Yeah, that would be bad.
Um, so if you do find a lot of stuff is coming up with your relationships or people in your life, just be mindful that the storm will be over soon. And try your best not to engage in whatever that fight instinct might be, especially as we go into Aries season. Um, and if you're an Aries Venus, like me, good luck. It is a mess out here. Um, but yeah, I think that's it for astrology.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I can't remember last time we recorded, but tomorrow when this episode goes up, it'll be St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
Um,
It was
and
before Valentine's Day because we have Valentine's Day on here. So it's been at least a month.
yeah, so happy holidays.
Yes.
Happy spring holidays.
Yes.
And I'm bummed because I was supposed to go out and do this cute little it was like a live music bar crawl festival. I was telling Coley about it with like some of my girlfriends, and they canceled it because of the storm.
And
And then
then the
the
storm
storm,
didn't even happen.
I know. At least in where I live,
That
like they
sucks.
could have had it. It was just overcast all day yesterday and windy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have been fine, but it's
Yeah.
okay. They were doing a bar crawl and they were charging $30 for two drink tickets. And I was like, oh, I could just buy four drinks for
For
that.
that. Yeah.
Like just go to the bar myself. Like, so it was probably better. I didn't
Was it two drink tickets per bar for $30 or was it just two drink tickets in general?
in general. So you got two drinks in general for 30. And I was like, oh. Because it's like there's a brewery we were going to, and their drinks are not that expensive. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can do better than that.
Yeah.
So it was probably probably better. I didn't go. But I was just so excited. I've never done anything for St. Patrick's Day before.
Yeah,
And
me
it's a
either.
thing. Like people do stuff. And I'm Irish, so I was like, I feel like I should
I
say.
um I'm kind of glad that I'm now semi sober instead of totally sober. Um, I only drink on special occasions and check in with my body first and during and yeah.
Yeah. I think that's kind
But
of do it.
the only problem is that I can't have beer because of the celiac.
I had an ale last night and my IBS was so angry with me and that was my boyfriend's first question. He was like, "Was it the like beer?"
Yeah,
And I was like, maybe so.
yeah,
Much gluten." But
yeah.
I think that's good. I think that's the healthiest way to go about drinking.
Because I'd love to have green beer on St. Patrick's Day,
I
but
know. Um, is the golf course doing anything for St. Patrick's Day?
no, we're still technically closed.
Mm. It's getting warm though, isn't it?
Yeah, my grandfather is away at a seminar all weekend, and he was like, don't answer the door because it's going to be people wanting carts, and I've already told the board of directors I'm gone this weekend, so I can't be open.
Yeah.
So I think like next weekend we might be open.
Mm.
Um, but I think it'll only be on the weekends until April, and then we'll be open like all week.
Fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, um, the next thing we have to talk about is super exciting. So I'm gonna let you
Yes.
take it away.
Okay. So we got some emails from a listener. Her name is Louisa. Hi, Louisa. Um, just telling us that we're doing a great job and suggesting ideas for future episodes. Um, some of which we're getting Jeffrey, I can never say his last name.
Yes.
Dicky.
Yes.
Dicky on the
Him.
show.
Hmm.
Um, but I've looked far and wide for a public contact information and there are none. Like
Hmm.
even his Instagram isn't public. So I feel really weird like reaching out to him on
I
like
was thinking
Instagram or
about going
anything.
messaging uh our other guest we've had on the show and seeing if she,
Allison.
yes, if she might have a contact email for him. Not
Yeah.
even saying like I don't want to ask for his phone number or anything. I just
No.
say if she had like a PR email or his regular like email that we could just send a nice little note to.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know if they're friendly. I don't know the nature of their dynamic. So,
Well,
but
she follows him on Instagram.
okay, so that's probably good.
Yeah.
But yes,
Um,
working on that. We're very mindful about not being invasive.
yeah. We don't want to like take because like I found emails for him, but they're like private emails.
Hmm.
Like the site that I found them on, I Googled his contact information, and the site that came up with his email was like one of those people finder type things.
Oh yeah.
And I don't want to do that because that's just
Yeah.
weird to me. And I looked up his Instagram and it's private. So
Yeah, I may message Allison or we can send her an email and see. But that's pending, but maybe, maybe.
yeah. And we might be doing more astrology episodes about characters and yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about, do we still have the thing where you can submit answers on Spotify?
Yes.
I was thinking about
It's
doing, hmm,
it's not really an answer type thing. It's a comment, so they would have to leave a comment,
gotcha.
which
Because I
is
was
fine.
going to maybe do that and then post something on our Instagram. And if you guys have suggestions of characters or actors from the show that you want us to do astrology episodes about, we can make a list. Um, we've done a few
Yeah.
already. So if you haven't listened to those, go check those out. They're some of the most fun to do.
Mhm.
But it's just really exciting. Louisa, we've loved hearing from you.
Yes, and also congratulations to Louisa, who's going to be an aunt again in October.
Fun.
So exciting.
Um, it's so much fun when we hear from you guys and
Yes.
consistently hear from you guys. Like Louisa's reached out more than once, I think, and
Yeah.
it's really sweet. And I told you Coley reads the emails, so
Yes.
somebody responds.
She
Uh,
emailed us about a week ago asking us when our next podcast would be out,
mhm.
and it was nice.
Yes, and honestly, thank you because it
Yeah.
makes like
It's
getting
like
secure.
someone's listening
Because we had been taking a hiatus due to me being so busy with my best friend's wedding stuff.
and me being sick.
Yeah. So, and also my birthday's in February and my boyfriend's birthday's in February, and so there was just like a lot of back-to-back
Yeah.
things. So we're back now. We'll try to be more consistent.
Yes.
But it's super exciting. I don't know why. Her emails just like were so sweet. So thank you
Yes.
for
Yes.
that. Speaking of emails, my very put together segue into our social media portion of the intro. So, if you guys don't know, we are on Instagram at SVU Coven. Please follow us if you are interested in keeping up with what we're doing because we post there the most. I also have a free Discord server that you can join and chit chat with us. Like you're able to talk to us directly on there. So if you're interested, the link's in our Instagram bio, and we can also email you one if you're not on Instagram. Our email.
And and we have a Reddit or a
Oh, yes.
subreddit.
Yes.
It's SVU Coven. So if any of you are Redditors, please join and we can chit chat there. If
Yeah.
Discord doesn't speak to you.
Yes. I need to figure out if I can link those together too, because I know there is a way to do that. But yes,
Mm-hmm.
on Reddit, SVU Coven, and then Discord, Instagram, and then our email is svucoven@gmail.com. Obviously, Coley does check the email and responds, and we love hearing from you guys so much. It's also the best way to reach out to us for business things. So if you want to be on the show or run an ad with us, we are open to all of those things. We just have to communicate via email for that.
Yeah.
Uh, we also have merch, and I recently got an iPad, so I was gonna play with some designs, maybe design some new merch. I'm
Yay.
meeting Coley for her birthday again this year, which is also the same month we started the show. So I kind of
Mm-hmm.
to drop merch around that time. Uh,
Yeah.
so, if you guys have ideas for merch designs or something that you want, like if you want a coffee mug with my face on it or something, let me know and we'll design it. We do it all ourselves. It's through Fourth Wall, and the proceeds go to Fourth Wall as well as to us, and we put it back into the show.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some pieces of merch out in the wild. So, if you guys have some of the clothing, the coffee mugs, tote bags, whatever, we would love to see pictures of it, whether that's Instagram or via email or whatever.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that we have that, like people have our merch out there,
I
and
know.
that's not just me and Coley.
um Also my aunt is looking at possibly designing some merch for us.
I love her. She's
Yes.
whenever I'm having a bad day, Coley's aunt will send me funny little Facebook memes or like Instagram reels, and it just makes me feel so much better.
Yeah.
She's great. Um,
We still have your Christmas present from my aunt.
I'll just get it when I see you.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I think that's everything social media wise.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if you guys join to the Discord, it would make me so happy because I want to do like some events on there and stuff too.
Yeah.
So,
And that link is in our bio on Instagram.
mhm. And we can email it to you as well. And I
I
will
think you
somehow
probably
figure out.
already said that, but I wanted to reiterate it.
I think I can post it on Reddit too. So if you're a Reddit person and so are over there, Coley's pretty active over there.
Mm-hmm.
I will let you know. All right.
Oh, this is your episodic reminder to rate, review, subscribe, like, and comment. All of the above are very important for the algorithm. Engagement, engagement, engagement. Um, Rating and reviewing and subscribing are the most important things you can do on an audio only platform like Spotify or Apple Music. And subscribing, liking, and commenting are the most important things you can do on YouTube. Um, we do read all the comments. We reply to as many as we can. And yeah, and we have a coffee. So you can go to, I believe it's coffee.com/ SVU Coven, and coffee is KOFI, and you can buy us a coffee. You can donate however much you want to us, and that money goes right back into the show. It's not mandatory, it's completely optional. And we appreciate the energy exchange on all of it.
Whew. Um, I think that's everything.
Oh, one more thing that's kind of like a witch talky thing and kind of like going back to you coming here.
Mhm.
Um, my Aunt Joe is coming July 2nd from Arizona,
Fun.
and she's leaving the 7th, and then you're coming the 9th. So we're gonna have a jam-packed 2 weeks.
I was gonna say, I'm so sorry for your. It's a good thing that I like taking naps.
Yes.
Whenever
Um,
I come visit Chloe, we always nap.
yes. It's the best thing to do. Um,
Oh my.
um, but no, we're gonna do some fun stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It'll be a good time.
it will be. All
Um,
right.
Also, I had another thought. Sorry, I we haven't
Yes.
recorded in a while, so things just keep popping in my brain. But speaking of Louisa and her emails, I was thinking about doing some one-off videos that wouldn't necessarily be podcast related, but more for our YouTube community that are more witchy centered. So Coley and I were talking about maybe doing tarot videos or like astrology videos and just like uploading them to YouTube if that's
Mm-hmm.
y'all would be interested in. Because it also could be little bonuses for everyone when we're on hiatus or taking a longer break.
Yeah.
But I'm just not sure. But I've been seeing on YouTube an uptick in tarot videos in particular, and I was like, oh, we do that anyway.
Yeah.
So if that's something y'all are interested, please send us an email and let us know. Um,
Definitely.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. Into
Break.
our self-love affirmation.
Yes.
So our self-love affirmation this week is I am strong, brave, and beautiful. I really like this one because it's stuff that I need to hear personally
Mhm.
because like yes, I get told all the time that I'm strong because of my MS and what I've survived and this, that, and the other thing. But it's a different thing to hear it from yourself.
Mhm.
Um, and like, yes, I wrote a poem about not wanting to be strong or brave anymore, but it's like, I want to be able to tell myself that I am that and believe it, you
Mhm.
know? And I want to be able to believe that I am beautiful. And
You
I'm
are.
working on it. Thank you. I'm working on it.
Your hair looks so good today.
It looks like I have bedhead.
I like it though. I was thinking that yesterday, when you Snapchatted me, that it looked good. But yes, I
Okay.
love that one too. It is kind of the same energy as Brooke Shields' new book.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which I'm listening to in the shower now.
It's
I
so
have
good.
I have a Bluetooth speaker and I just put it on when I'm in the shower and listen
That's
to
smart.
it. Because
It's
that's
really
about the only time that I have a chance to listen to a book is
hmm
in the shower.
Me too, actually, because I'm not driving as much these days since I work from
Hmm.
home, and I have not been able to keep up with audiobooks, whereas I used to drive back and forth to Nashville every other weekend, and so I was always listening to them.
Yeah.
Um, but now it's like if I'm in the shower or like cleaning the house, I'll have it on my like Alexa. But I did run through Brooke Shields' book, so if you guys haven't
It's
listened,
so good.
oh, it's so good. It's so good. All her books are good, but this one
I'm
just
only on like chapter 5, but it's so good.
and she talks about Mariska, so
Yes.
um it's adjacent to SVU. Go listen to it.
Yes.
All I could think about during her little Mariska part was Mariska going like this with her bee necklace. And she
It's
was
a
like, look at the
bee,
bee.
and no one was looking at the bee.
Not a soul. You couldn't
No,
even tell that there was a letter there.
no.
Alrighty.
Okay. Anyway, now into the notes. We
Ooh,
are covering season 4, episode 3, Vulnerable today. And something interesting is I did my junior science fair project on this episode.
really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
for chemistry. I did.
Mm. Cute.
I did my sophomore episode or my sophomore science fair project on an episode too, but
Which was the, oh, for some reason my brain was thinking about when you met Peter Herman. That was different.
That was the grant writing class
I
in
remember.
college. Yes. Okay. Now, okay. We open on a couple in bed, and there's a noise from the common area. Whoa, why did it just do that?
Hmm.
So my page just jumped down and I didn't want it to.
Rude.
Um, it was weird. The woman wakes the man up and says there's someone in the house. He tells her to call 911, but she can't find the phone. So he tells her to get in the closet as he gets a gun. They both walk of the bedroom, him with a gun, her with a baseball bat, and they walk into the kitchen and find an elderly woman in their fridge. And she looks at them and asks, "Is that you, Itzy?" Ellie and Olivia arrive on scene and walk over to the woman who EMS is checking out. The woman asks why all the men are there. She's not decent. Olivia says it's okay and gets the men around her to leave. The woman says she needs to talk to Itzy, and Olivia asks if Itzy's the one who hurt her. The woman says Olivia doesn't know anything, and Olivia responds just what Itzy told her. The woman said Itzy promised not to tell, and Olivia said that's because she wants because Itzy wants her to tell her. Um the woman cries and says he had his way with her. Olivia asks who and then looks at her chest. Underneath her nightgown, where there are cigarette burns. Olivia walks over to Elliot and asks if he saw the burns. He says yes. Someone used her as an ashtray. Done done.
Done, done.
I don't know why I insist on writing in paragraphs in these notes.
Yeah, sometimes I do a paragraph and sometimes I need bullet points so that I like my brain can follow it better.
No, mine's just always paragraphs.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I try to make them shorter and I'm like, I can't.
I need every detail.
Yeah. Ellie and Olivia are talking to a doctor at the hospital who asks, "Whoa,
Well,
um, no, I phrased that weird.
mm,
They're talking to a doctor at the hospital and ask if she was SA'd. The doctor says that they'll have to wait for the kit as there were no fluids or abrasions. She had burns on her breasts and genitals. Olivia says she was in shock when they questioned her, and the doctor thinks she'll remember more now. And asks the doctor if the doctor thinks they'll remember more now. The doctor says probably not. She has Alzheimer's. She hasn't been admitted because there's no need. She has mild high blood pressure. She needs long term care, and the doctor just needs someone to release her to. Back in the squad room, Ellie and Olivia are questioning her, and she's questioning where her purse is. Olivia asks the name if her name was in her purse and what her name is, and the woman accuses Olivia of taking her purse and demands Elliot make Olivia give her purse back. He assures the woman that Olivia didn't take her purse, but she insists Olivia did and says no one else could have taken it. Elliot then asks her if the person who hurt her could have taken her purse. The woman begins recounting an essay, but doesn't tell them his name. Olivia says that they can help her, um, but she has to tell them his name. She goes to take a bite of a cracker and stops and asks, "Who?" I have to say, I am so glad my grandmother didn't get to this point.
yeah.
It would have been heartbreaking. And I'll say it again later in the episode, but like, it was hard enough when she like forgot my name.
Yeah.
So it would have been unbearable if she couldn't remember anything.
No, it's one of my biggest like fears with my grandmother because she's old now. But it doesn't run in our family
Mm.
necessarily, but I can feel it. I can feel her getting there or going towards like she can't remember anything anymore and repeats
Yeah.
herself a lot, And I always think that if it ever gets to that point, how heartbreaking it would be.
Mm.
So,
Um, yeah. Munch fitted Craig are commenting on how sad the woman's predicament is. And Munch says that if that starts to happen to him, to call Kevorkian. Finn says already done.
I miss them.
Me too. Cregan tells them to look at the past residence in the building she broke into. She must have lived there. Munch and Finn go to the northeast branch of the National Archives. They find information on a family who had three daughters, and Finn surmises their Vic has to be one of the three. Ellie and Olivia go to the only living daughter to see if she can ID their victim. It's not either of her sisters, but she calls Isabel Izzy. Olivia asks if anyone ever called her Itzy. She says, "Good Lord, Itzy and Bitsy. Bitsy for Bess McIntyre." Olivia asked if Bess ever lived with them, and she didn't, but she used to sneak in through the window in the middle of the night and would cry herself to sleep. She had a funny uncle. Um, Olivia goes up to the outside of the cribs, like I don't know what to call it, where Kragan was playing the video game.
Right, right.
Yeah. Where Bess is sleeping. She woke up when Olivia approached and asked who Olivia is. Olivia asks if she goes by Bitsy or Bess now. Olivia tries to remind her of their talk that morning after the hospital, but Bess says she never goes to the hospital. She's healthy as a horseshoe. Bess asks why she's there and asks if she was arrested when she finds out she's in a police station. Olivia assures her that she wasn't arrested, but says she was attacked. She asks if the man she was talking about earlier was her uncle, then asks when he lost all his money. Bess answers 1929. Everyone lost their money. Olivia says that was over 70 years ago and that her uncle hurt her when she was little. She wants to know who is hurting her now. The squad talks about the case. The kit didn't show any semen, but Elliot says to look at the burns. He doesn't think their perp did her any favors. Wong says the attack triggered memories of her abuse as a kid, but he doesn't think she'll ever be able to tell him who's hurting her now. Tell them who's hurting her now. He says they're looking. Wow, why can't I type? He says they're looking for a young or socially stunted sadist who targeted Bess because he has an inferiority complex.
Words are hard.
Yes, they're hard to write and they're hard to speak.
We have that on merch if you guys.
We do. Allie and Olivia go to Jubilee Towers where Bess's social security checks are sent. They ask the director if she knows one of her residents is missing. She checks the switchboard and says all their level oneers are accounted for. They're required to flip a switch in the morning to let the facility know they're still among the living. Elliot says Bess didn't flip her own switch that morning, and the director says she couldn't. She was discharged 2 weeks prior to her son Joe. The superintendent lets Ellie and Olivia into Bess's apartment. It was always Bess's apartment, and it's rent controlled at $350 a month. Can you
Can you
imagine?
like oh, I my rent is like $1,800 and that's not even including utilities. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? And then my brother lives in rent controlled housing and it's still
Mm-hmm.
like $1,000
Yeah. $350 a month
in New York.
in New York
Oh.
for I believe it's a garden level apartment.
I would cry.
Yeah.
I want to move to New York so I can be close to Coley, but it's so expensive.
Yes. I'd
Okay.
say move to New Jersey, but it's just as expensive here.
Mm.
Like, let's be real.
And Atlanta is insane.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Bess brought him some luck since she moved back in. The repost stopped and the delivery started. All furnishings for the apartment. TV, DVD, TiVo, all that stuff. As Elliot is looking in the living room, Olivia calls him from off screen. She's in Bess's room. She has a twin bed with restraints.
Gasp. A twin bed.
Yeah.
Mind blowing.
Joe comes home and wants to know who they are and why they're in his house. Olivia says they're just checking out his mother's accommodations. He asks where Bess is and if she's all right. Elliot says she's safer now than she was there and tells him to come with them. Elliot and Olivia bring Joe into interrogation where they question him on the treatment of his mother. Olivia shows him pictures of his mother's bruised wrists. He says she never bruised before. That pisses me off.
Mm.
Elliot says it's a hell of a way to treat his mother, and he responds that she wanders away at night and it's for her own protection. Olivia then shows him pictures of the cigarette burns on her chest. He says they can't think he burned her. Elliot says they do. He says obviously someone attacked her when she got out. And he said he had an early breakfast meeting and didn't want to wake her, which is why he didn't realize she was missing. This is again where I'm going to say I'm glad my grandmother never got to this point where
Mhm.
she was wandering out in the middle of the night.
My boyfriend and I watched this show called Northwoods Law.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there was an episode where a man did that, where he just like a really older man just like wandered away from their house and they called all
Mm-hmm.
the law enforcement and stuff to come get him and then he was fine. Just walking.
Yeah.
Like as far I think his brain as far as it was going, he was just like, I'm on a walk and just left. Um,
Yeah.
and that also scares me for my grandmother because she still drives.
Yeah.
I'm like, madam, maybe not. But
Well, my grandmother shouldn't have been driving, but I mean, we still have her car
mhm,
and she had access to the keys. So
yeah.
she
And
could have
I think
easily
a
just
lot of it
taken.
is like muscle memory. Like your body just is doing it, you know? And if
Yeah.
you know how to drive, that's even my grandma's been talking about getting a Tesla or something that's self-driving so she can like whatever, but I'm more scared about that, honestly. So
Yeah.
but it is a real thing that happens.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Elliot asks how she's supposed to use the bathroom if she's tied up for 18 hours. He said the housekeeper takes care of that, but she was now fired because she didn't tell him about Bess, Maria Sanchez. She didn't actually go into work that day. Olivia said she'd have been just fine if he would have left her at Jubilee Towers, and Joe says they were bleeding her dry. It cost $7,000 a month, leaving nothing for him, Elliot noted. Um, Olivia goes to talk to Alex, who says there's no way they're letting Bess go with this guy. Alex said he's her legal guardian and can't get him on abuse because they have no witnesses and Bess hasn't made a complaint. She can't. Alex says in an effort to keep her safe, he endangered her. But it's a stretch. Olivia says to make it stretch into a removal order and they'll sell Joe. Alex got protective orders placing Bess in Jubilee Towers until this matter can be resolved and freezing her accounts and assets so Joe can't take anything from her. Bess comes down into the squad room proper and asks why it's so noisy as Joe is yelling to her. Olivia escorts her out. Cragen says they'll see if they can dig up any dirt on Joe and see if Maria, the housekeeper, even exists. Elliot and Olivia go to talk to Maria, who is coming out of an apartment carrying trash bags. They ask if she works for Joe, and she says yes. Elliot and Olivia question her as to whether she saw any marks on Bess or if they saw Joe hurt her in any way. She says no, but when he's stressed, he speaks very harshly to her. He was very stressed on Monday. Everything had to be just perfect for his party. Elliot and Olivia then go to Adventures in Capital where Joe works. He said he invited some investors over and didn't mention it because it was irrelevant. He says they screwed the business when he froze their accounts, his mother's account. She's a key investor in the business. Ellie and Olivia ask about the investors he invited to the apartment, and Olivia asks if Bess came out of her room and embarrassed him, so he burned her. And Elliot and Olivia ask for the party list, and Joe says no. Munch and Finn go dumpster diving, looking through garbage bags.
They're just the
Um,
funniest two to be picked to do that.
yeah,
Because both of them, dumpster diving is funny to me.
Finn's actually in the dumpster. He throws out a bag, and it like breaks on the ground, and Munch is like, "Damn it, you got garbage all over my shoes."
It's just funny picturing Ice-T like willingly jumping into a dumpster to film a scene.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, they're looking through the garbage bags that Maria threw out for a guest list, but Munch finds cigarette butts. One of them might be their weapon. Munch and Finn go to the lab tech and get the unfortunate news that they can't pinpoint a cigarette from the burns because most brands are the same diameter, and all DNA evidence was destroyed by the inhalation temperature, which gets up to 850 to 900 degrees at the point of inhalation. But the tech does run fingerprints. Munch and Finn go to a used car dealership and talk to the dealer. Finn, not Din, Finn.
Din.
Finn
That's a good one.
asks if they had any issues with Joe's mom's. I hate that. I hate
Yeah.
that so much.
Hmm.
I know it's like part of their language, but I hate it so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
At the party, and he says he didn't even see her, that she was an investor until she went to Jubilee Towers. But when she moved back in, he had startup money again. And by he, I mean Joe.
Hmm.
Um, Munch says that everyone they spoke to says Joe has been a leech his entire life. On cue, Joe walks in, says they're ruining him. Three investors just pulled out, and insists the only money he ever took from his mother was rent. Why are you taking rent from your mother when rent is $350 a month?
Yeah.
Olivia asks if he took rent from his mother 5 times a month. All checks were made out to cash. Joe says it must have been Andy, his college dropout son, who has made his mom write checks before. And Elliot and Olivia go to talk to Andy in Jersey. He's listening to his music with headphones, laying on his bed with his eyes closed.
Food. That's me.
Yeah. Elliot stands over him, but he doesn't open his eyes, so he turns his music up loud, which gets his attention.
I really like that scene.
Yeah.
It's always funny to me.
And like the smirk Olivia gives before Elliot turns up his
Yeah.
music.
A little mischievous.
Yeah. Um Andy asks to let them in. Elliot answers his mother. They confront him about dropping out, and he said he didn't have a choice. His father had drained his college fund. He's not mad at his grandmother. It's his dad who's the jerk. Um, he says that sometimes Bess gives him presents. Elliot asks, no, says that she doesn't even know her own name. He says Bess was the only one who was ever there for them. They ask about the guy he hangs out with, Hal. Hal smokes and works at Jubilee Towers. Elliot and Olivia go to Jubilee Towers to talk to Hal to find him yelling at a patient. They ask him if Bess is a troublemaker, and he says no, she's a dream. Olivia says they heard Hal ran into Bess on the outside with the end of a cigarette butt. Hal says he doesn't know what they've been smoking, but he has lives to save. The administrator the director went through the complaints against Hal with Ellie and Olivia. Only one serious complaint. Mr. Jackson said Hal tried to suffocate him. But some residents complain if you look at them wrong, they get SA reports after the animal cart makes its rounds. Animal cart?
She wrote it in all caps with four
Animal cart?
Enema cart.
What the hell?
Yeah,
Animal cart.
seems very specific.
Yeah. And I
A cart
mean,
of enemas.
like, I watch Grey's Anatomy and they order enemas as needed. Why
Yeah.
in the hell would you need a cart of enemas to go around and give patients enemas at the same time?
Uh,
I don't know. Man, that's weird.
silliness.
Munch and Finn go to talk to Mr. Jackson, who asks if there's the new nude models he ordered. Munch goes to correct him, and Mr. Jackson says it was a joke. He says Hal is a serial killer. He pinches him. Mr. Jackson bit him in retaliation one time, and Hal cut off his oxygen. Then Mr. Jackson says that the clan comes in at night and roams the halls. Munch
Hmm.
and Finn step away, and Finn says they had him until he took a left at Mississippi.
I mean,
Ellie and Olivia talk to a female resident who scratched Hal. She says someone was suffocating her, and she scratched at something, and suddenly she could breathe again. And she opened her eyes, and there was Hal, standing over her, his face scratched and bleeding. He told her she was hallucinating. Munch and Finn talk to Kragan about the things Hal does to his patients for fun, pinching them, stealing their dentures, that kind of stuff. Alex comes in with a lawsuit filed against Jubilee Towers for $10 million on behalf of the estate of one of their deceased residents. Everyone the patient, Dahlia Brown, came into contact with was named in the suit. Alex is working on an exhumation order. Munch and Finn go to visit Warner after Dahlia was exhumed and examined. When the Emmy drained her blood, he drained out any toxins, and the embalming fluid dissolved any protein-based poisons, but she was able to test for heavy metals and things in her muscles. Cause of death was cardiac arrest. Melinda says it's Emmy speak for we don't know what happened, but we don't suspect foul play.
basically.
Yeah. But there's one thing she would have noted: a tiny pinprick on Dahlia's arm. Finn asks, no, Finn says maybe the hospital gave her an IV. Melinda says that she was in to have her knee drained. The hole is in the wrong place.
Mm.
Ellie and Olivia go to Jubilee Towers to talk to the director about the settlement with Dahlia's daughter. The director said they settled because it was cheaper than going to court. Elliot asks what happened, and the director said that sometimes grieving families have trouble accepting the death of a loved one, and pain makes them look for someone to blame. Olivia asks about Dahlia's last meal delivered by someone with the initials HS. Elliot asks if there was any other nurse's aides with those initials besides Hal. Olivia says they'll need to talk with anyone who saw Hal with Dahlia that night. Elliot says he doesn't want to grow old. Olivia said in their line of work to be careful what he wished for. Elliot found out some things about Dahlia. She was needy and demanding and in pain. Hal had means and opportunity with Bess, Dahlia, and Mr. Jackson. Can we talk about how the women are referred to by their first names and the man is referred to by Mr.?
Yeah. Like, why?
It drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And a dozen others. Room 410 started coding, and that's Bess's room. The director, Hope, says that she saw Hal. She came down to check on Bess, and her pulse was slow and thready. The nurses move Bess to the full care wing on a gurney, and Olivia makes an observation. She has a fresh needle mark. Elliot and Olivia find Hal having a smoke, and Elliot asks Hal what he was still doing there. He heard he was fired. Hal says that he was told to finish out his shift. He was told he needs to account for his whereabouts for the last 15 minutes. He says he was in the stockroom. Elliot says that he has to come with them. Hal asks if he's under arrest. Olivia says no. Hal says then screw off. Elliot kicks the chair he had his feet on, and Hal stands up and gets rid of his cigarette and goes with Elliot, while Olivia puts the cigarette out and collects it for evidence. Craig and Elliot and Olivia try to scare Hal into confessing with the prints of his cigarette butt, telling him that there's flesh on the lid end of the cigarette and that his print had his prints from the party. Reagan leaves and Olivia says no confession, no plea bargain. Olivia says that means he'll do the max. Finn looks at Craig and says CSU said they couldn't get flesh from the cigarette butts. Cragen responds, oops.
Oops.
Hal confesses to burning Bess because Andy got a check from her. Sign and all, no problem. Hal tried and was unsuccessful. Bess started screaming rape and then he snapped. Said he'd show her rape and pulled up her nightgown and started burning her chest over and over. They asked what happened when he saw her today. He said that he didn't see her. Olivia said they have a witness who saw him coming out of the room, but right before she coded. He said he was in the stock room and he could prove it. The squad goes to Jubilee Towers. Munch and Finn check Hal's alibi. He was stealing medications. If Hal wasn't lying, Hope must be. Ellie and Olivia talk with the nurse who says that Bess isn't the first patient that Hope saved. She found a patient in cardiac arrest and another patient at senior prom who collapsed at the buffet table. It's a good thing Hope knows CPR. Ellie and Olivia go to visit Bess, and Joe is taking her home. Andy tells him to stop talking about how burning her he was upsetting Bess. He says he'll visit her later and bring the brochures for other homes. Bess takes Olivia's hand and asks if she's her friend. Olivia says yes, and Bess asks her to make Joe be quiet. Olivia says that it's not a problem, he was just leaving. Joe says the protection order was dropped. Olivia says the misappropriation of funds investigation was just starting. Hope comes into the room and asks if it was a bad time. Joe says no. Olivia questions Hope on the saves she's made and the loss she had. Back in the squad room, Olivia says Hope is a complete wacko. Wong suggests that it's those are her exact words too.
A wacko.
Yeah. Wong suggests it might be malignant hero syndrome. A person starts a risky situation, then comes out a hero. Cragen says like a firefighter starting a fire. Wong says it's all about personal gain. Olivia picked up Bess's talk screen from the hospital, and the one thing in her system which Wong catches is epinephrine. Wong says that Bess was revived with CPR, and once her heart started again, she shouldn't have been given epi. Finn asks what would happen if epi was given to someone with a healthy heart. Wong says it would mimic a heart attack. Munch says it's the perfect crime. Hope was a nurse. Her license was revoked 15 years ago for gross negligence. She failed to dilute potassium chloride doses. And for those who don't know, potassium chloride is what they give you in a lethal injection when they kill you on death row.
Yeah.
Ellie and Olivia go to arrest Hope, who denies dosing anyone with epi, even though there was a syringe in the Sharps box with her prints on it and epi in the syringe. Hope asks why they're embarrassing her. Elliot says she likes to be the center of attention and then arrests her for the attempted murder of Bess. At trial, Melinda is testifying that to the potassium poisoning at Oakland Nursing Home, where Hope was the nurse. Hope says they were all on death's door and had very little time left. Alex says she doesn't care if they were on their last breath. She had no right to take it from them. Hope is removed from the courtroom after an outburst, and we dig Wolf.
That episode's such a hard one.
Yeah,
But
but yeah, I did my junior science fair project on this episode because it had epi in it, and
mhm.
that's chemistry related, and
Yeah,
um, so I did it on epinephrine, and I brought this in as my visual.
that's so cute. I love that
Yeah.
for you. Um, I am about to do my tarot reading, but I was dying because it says Katie Trot.
Oh,
I was like, oh, you want me to go do a trot for the visual listeners, watchers?
so this is your second episodic reminder to rate, review, subscribe, like, and comment. All of the above are very important. Rate, review, subscribe is the most important thing you can do on an audio only platform like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Subscribing, liking, and comment is the most important thing you can do on YouTube. Um, yeah,
Ooh. Okay, so um I got the Eight of Cups. I'm using the Trip and Wait tarot deck. You guys know it's my favorite. Um, Absolutely stunning artwork for our YouTube people. You can.
yeah,
So the cards never lie, as per usual. The Eight of Cups is very much a card of leaving behind what no longer serves you, whether that's a situation, a person, a job, whatever the case may be, it's symbolizing walking towards something that's better for you and releasing the things that aren't. And we're in eclipse season. We've got Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde. All of that is pushing us to let go of the things that are weighing us down in our lives so that we can move forward to something better and something brighter. And I love the artwork on this card so much because he's walking towards the rainbow. And he's like, "Oh, it's so pretty." And then he's leaving all of those heavy cups behind. Um, Cups are generally a positive card, especially for Coley and I being water signs. So I'm feeling a lot of water energy for this one. So if you're a Cancer, a Pisces, or a Scorpio, or have that in your chart, this may be extremely applicable to you. Uh, Also going into Aries season and communication is going to be kind of funky and whatever. Just remember, do some self-care and some grounding work, and approach these situations that you're letting go of with the mindset that you're moving forward to something better. Yeah.
yeah,
Woohoo. So if you're still hanging out, we are on Instagram at SVU Coven. If you hop over there and give us a follow, comment on our most recent post with your favorite emoji, and we'll know you came from this episode. Same thing with YouTube. If you want to drop me a comment, sometimes I hang out down in there and look at the comments, so we would love that. We also have a free Discord server you can join. I really would love to grow it so we could have more people hanging out in there. We're on Reddit now, SVU Coven. Coley's over there posting, doing things. So if you guys are interested in talking with us, that's another outlet there. And then you can email us at svucoven@gmail.com, business inquiries especially. But if you want to just talk to us or want to be on the show or run an ad with us, we have space for it and we are willing to talk to you. So please send us an email. And then we have merch on Fourth Wall. The proceeds go to us as well as Fourth Wall, and we put it back into the show. And we usually have a new merch drop pretty much every year lately. So
yeah,
keep your eyes peeled for that probably sometime in July. That seems to be our month here at the Coven.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We love you and blessed be.
Blessed be.
Okay, I love you.
I love you too.
Bye.
Bye.